everyone, and welcome to the Kingdom Keepers podcast. I am your host, Liz, and with me today I have Taryn.
Hi.
And today we are going to catch up on some recent Disney news. But first, a little message from me and a short carousel of progress, and then straight into our main topic Disney News Review. So, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a stats update on our podcast. So, we have listeners in 6 countries, which includes the US, Canada, Australia, Germany, Sierra Leone, and the UK. In the US, we reached 28 out of 50 states, and I just think it's so incredible. I think it's just so awesome that we're reaching so many people, so many different places, and I just want to thank all the listeners cuz I it's really the coolest thing ever, and I can't describe how excited I am for you guys to share in our love for Disney. So if you follow us on Instagram, please comment on our posts and just say hello from and then put your country or state so we can say hi to you.
I I mean I can't top what Liz said, but it's amazing getting to know that so many people around the world listen to us in our chaos. So I really appreciate it, and the rest of the keepers really love you guys listening too.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that 2 years ago, almost to the day of recording, we all met for the first time and we've just been creating Disney chaos ever since. And we started this podcast in September of last year, and it's just grown into this wonderful community. I mean, the community that has like reached out to me and Jess when our grandpa passed away and has like commented on all of our stories, and it's been great and it's been amazing, and I can't thank you listeners enough. With that said, I'm going to switch over to a word from our sponsor just to get that out of the way before our topic.
Introducing the magical world of Disney like you've never experienced it before. Are you dreaming of a fairy tale vacation filled with enchanting adventures and unforgettable memories? Look no further than Twinning Around the World, your trusted Disney travel expert. At Twinning Around the World, I specialize in turning your Disney dreams into reality. Whether you're planning a family getaway, a romantic escape, or a friend's adventure, I'm here to make it all happen seamlessly.
Why should you choose Twinning Around the World? Exclusive Disney insights. Jason lives and breathes Disney magic. He's also considered an expert in all things Disney. From park secrets to character meet and greets, he's got the inside scoop to make your trip truly extraordinary. Customized itineraries. Not a single Disney vacation is the same, and neither should your trip itinerary. Jason can tailor each vacation to your preferences and budget, ensuring every moment is pure pixie dust. Stress-free planning. Leave the details to him. He handles reservations, dining, and more, so you can focus on creating enchanting memories with your loved ones. Cost saving. He knows how to maximize your value while minimizing your costs in order to get the most out of your Disney experience without breaking the bank. Personalized service. Jason prides himself on providing top-notch, personalized service. You're not just a client to him, you're a cherished member of our Disney family.
Ready to embark on your Disney adventure? Contact us today at twinningaroundtheworld.com to start planning your dream vacation. Let's make your Disney dreams come true, one magical moment at a time.
Recent Disney news. Disneyland's Autopia is getting rid of its diesel-powered cars and is replacing them with electric cars. Not only is this good news for the environmental impact, but from somebody who worked in Tomorrowland, this is good for the noses of everyone that walks past because those cars smell so bad. The gas smell is so bad. It's like I literally, I couldn't stand walking past the Tomorrowland Speedway. But this is a very, very welcomed change, in my opinion, if you can't tell. And I hope that they bring it to Disney World soon because like I said, it is so strong and it is so bad.
Imagineers have been working on and showing previews of the proposed replacement area for Dinoland USA Animal Kingdom. This new land will be based on the tropical Americas, and models for this project have been created. These models show the attraction facades for both an Encanto attraction and an Indiana Jones attraction.
So, for those of you who don't know, when models are actually created, that's like a big step in the Imagineering process to get it out of blue sky. And when I'm looking at these models, it's like the facades can tell you a lot about the attraction it's going to be. It's not necessarily like a 100% guess that I have, but I kind of assume that the Indiana Jones ride will mimic the one in Disneyland. I mean, that's like the easiest choice. It's the obvious choice for the area that it's going in because the Indiana Jones area will be towards where the dinosaur attraction is now, and it's a very similar attraction building. It has the same vehicle types, like they can reprogram those vehicles to do the same things that the one in Disneyland does. And so I think that it's probably going to be the same type feeling of attraction, but I'm really, really hoping and I'm very cautiously optimistic that we're going to get a different storyline, hopefully to tie in more to Animal Kingdom and its mission of conservation. And I'm hoping that they find a way to kind of like give the perfect marriage of Indiana Jones and Animal Kingdom's mission statement. And then when I look at the Encanto section, because that's part of the proposed areas, the Encanto section, they have like a little casita, but it's on like a hill, which kind of gives me like Mystic Manor type vibes. So in my brain, I'm kind of thinking that they're going to do a trackless dark ride for Encanto in Animal Kingdom, and I think that'd be really cool, especially if they go more into like Antonio's room, like they give us the different rooms of the Encanto, and like Antonio talks to animals, right? So like that would make sense that we would spend time in his room on a little adventure or something. I think that would be really cool. Like I said, these are just guesses. They're just kind of how I'm feeling when I look at these models, but I think that they're pretty darn good guesses if you ask me.
I love the Antonio idea. I didn't even think of that. But aren't they doing it? Well, let me rephrase. Isn't the rumor supposed to be too that Encanto's supposed to go beyond Big Thunder?
That was we'll probably get to that a little later when we talk like in our like little last segment part, just like a sneak preview for the listeners that are listening to this part. Um but I during the original Blue Sky, yes, there was an Encanto area. I think it was Encanto and Coco. But now I'm thinking they're going to switch it up because Encanto is kind of more developed in the Imagineering stage in Animal Kingdom, so I don't think they're going to put double Encanto in the parks right now. Um I mean, there's not really double anything in the parks right now except for if you count the Little Mermaid with the show and then the ride. But I don't think that they're going to
And
do
Frozen.
two. Yeah. I don't think that they're going to do two like big experiences. So, I think that Encanto is going to go in Animal Kingdom and something else will go in Magic Kingdom. I'm going to save my predictions for later for what's going to be beyond Big Thunder Mountain. New roaming droids have made an appearance in Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland. These droids have been affectionately nicknamed duck droids, and if you see them, you know why. They waddle like little ducks, and they are the cutest things ever. These droids add so much energy and excitement to the section of the park, and it's really something that I wish that we could have in Florida. I definitely understand why we can't. From everything I've like watched and listened to about Disneyland, it's a much more like chill environment. We have very different cultures basically around like character meetings and like just like the atmosphere things that Disneyland can do that we can't just because Disney World is such a hub for like people's like one-time big family vacations whereas Disneyland is really a Disney lovers and local park. It's Walt's Park, and a lot of people go there because they love Disney, like a lot. Like they really love like Disney and the history behind it, or they're local to Disneyland. So I understand that Disney World is way too crowded for the roaming characters to freely interact with guests like that. And so I understand why we don't have droids, but it also just makes me really sad.
The popcorn bucket for fancy springs in Tokyo Disney Sea has been revealed. This popcorn bucket is Peter Pan themed. It is a big bin with the Peter Pan character silhouettes on the clock base, a portrait featuring Hook and Mrs. Smee, and it also lights up. So, I am really excited for fancy springs just from like it is all like the good feel movies, just like Rapunzel, a new Frozen ride. Just everything I've been hearing about Fancy Springs sounds really amazing. And just like the mooch, such as the popcorn bucket, makes me excited to hopefully go there one day in a far off distant timeline.
Yeah, Tokyo Disney Sea is literally the top of my list for international parks. It is more likely that I'll probably get to Paris before Tokyo Disney Sea, but it's definitely like I'm gonna go there no matter what. So I know that for like a fact, unless I get like hit by a bus or something. I'm not putting that in the universe actually. Um, but um, I just I'm so excited to just watch the videos on this. It's just so beautiful. I think it's kind of like the reason I love Animal Kingdom. It's because it's just so beautiful and natural looking almost. Like it's I don't even know how to describe it. Like the things that they do over there, like, yes, they're big and they're themed, but it also looks very, like, natural to the area. It's very floral. There's a lot of vegetation. It just looks beautiful and calming. And I'm just very excited that Rapunzel is finally getting her moment with that Tangled themed area instead of just bathrooms in the Magic Kingdom. And that's the only representation she's had in the park besides her character meet and greet. So I'm very, very excited for her, and I can't wait for probably a very distant future trip to Tokyo Disney Sea when I can finally see it. But I'm so excited to watch all of the influencers like opening day videos and just seeing how the land played out. Speaking of international parks, Disneyland Paris's Park Disney Studios is about to get a rename and a very large overhaul. It's going to be renamed Disney Adventure Worlds, and this $2 billion expansion includes new lands and attractions. One of the attractions' concept art, again, we're giving Rapunzel her day in the sun. It was released, and you can find it anywhere. It's really quite beautiful to look at. I love Imagineering concept art because it's just so wonderful to look at. So I'd highly recommend just like looking up Disney Adventure World's concept art because all of it's amazing. But the one I wanted to touch on is actually a very original and iconic ride. It's the teacup ride, but the vehicles are going to be like little gondolas, essentially like the little boats that Rapunzel and Flynn were in, and they're gonna do like the teacup spinny thing, and it just looks so. It like the little tent area that they have like drawn just looks so beautiful because it has like the little hanging lanterns, and it just looks fun. It's a fun twist on a very classic ride that we already know and love.
I mean, I love that Rapunzel and Tangled are now really getting some representation. I know Maddie is probably so excited hearing this news, but
Maddie is
I'm really
screaming
excited.
somewhere.
Yes, yes, she is. So I'm excited for her. I'm excited for the movie, and I'm just excited to see these areas be revamped for years to come.
Yeah, the fun thing about this park is that it's not great. Disneyland Paris itself is like one of the more low budget parks. They're doing a lot at like Disneyland Paris's Magic Kingdom park, like their castle park, but their Disney Studios has not gotten much love since it opened. And so now that they're doing a $2 billion expansion for this area, I think it's going to be insane. And I was actually talking to Jessica about like if we were to rename our Hollywood studios, because it's not necessarily like the original MGM Studios kind of vision. And like I'm like Hollywood Studios works, don't get me wrong. I think it works because it's bringing you into those Hollywood movies, like it's immersing you in them. But we were thinking of other ideas. I'm like, what would we actually name this? And I'm like, too bad Islands of Adventure is taken, because that would actually like fit into what they're trying to do in our Hollywood studios currently. And I think it's so funny that they called this Disney Adventure Worlds. Probably literally I think I found this out probably like a week after Jessica and I had this discussion. So I I'm like, Disney's listening to me. They should be paying me. But yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think the way that like these studio parks are going, I think it's going to be so fun and unique. I mean, we could talk about Epic Universe and how it's going to basically be what this concept is that we were trying to build in our current Hollywood studios. And like, yeah, they may be doing it better right now, but that's because it's all brand shiny and new. And Disney's paying attention to its international parks. We're getting a bunch of expansions in our domestic parks as well. It's just, I think, in my opinion, it's unrealistic for us to open a fifth gate in Disney World right now when we can expand the parks we currently have and bring more people into the parks we currently have and bring more attractions and shows and entertainment options. So I think that it's unrealistic for people to think that we have to respond with a fifth gate because Universal is opening with a third gate unless you count Volcano Bay. So, but we don't count our water parks as gates. I mean, they're water parks, so I'm not counting Volcano Bay. But like it's unrealistic for us to expect them to respond with that when Disney is responding with billion-dollar expansions for the parks that it currently has domestically. So I think that they don't have to respond. They really don't. It's Disney. Like they're doing the thing that they're doing the best, and that is giving the love to the parks that we already have and that can be expanded, which we'll touch more on in just a few minutes probably. But I think that this whole big expansion and basically re-theme of an entire park in an international setting is just phenomenal. They heard the patrons and they're doing something to fix it. Speaking of expansions, Disneyland Forward has been given preliminary approval by the Anaheim City Council. This this is a proposal for a $1.9 billion expansion of Disneyland, and this is so Disneyland Forward is essentially a 40-year agreement that will guide how future developments for Disneyland can be executed. And it gives them guidelines in what they can and can't do, how to get the approvals for all of these things within this big plan. And so we know that Disneyland is planning on expanding. And within that expansion, it's not necessarily another gate, which it might be, but it's also more room for more hotels, more room for shops, expanding the parks they already have. That's all part of that $1.9 billion expansion that they're planning. So we don't necessarily know if it's a third gate or if they're planning on putting more hotels there because I believe what they have three, two, three, something like that. Three, because it's the Disneyland Hotel, it's the Pixar
Grand
Place,
Californian.
and the Grand Californian. Yeah. So they might be expanding their hotels. They might be expanding their, I think they still call it Downtown Disney. They might be expanding that,
Yes.
or they might be expanding the parks they already have. We don't necessarily know the full plan for Disneyland Forward, but that includes everything. It's all encompassing. And the final vote for it will be on May 7th. So they got the preliminary approval. We're waiting on the final vote.
Our test track will be closing for refurbishment on June 17th. This refurbishment is for a major update to the attraction. We got a small preview of it last year at Destination D23, and it shows scenes reminiscent of the now defunct World of Motion. I have no idea what the World of Motion is. I
It
just
was
know it
the
as Test Track.
yeah, it was the original attraction that was in that area. And World of Motion, I believe, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, please correct me on Instagram or something. I love to be educated. But I'm relatively sure World of Motion was the kind of like, I don't remember what car brand it was. I thought it was Chrysler. No, Chevrolet, Chrysler. I think it's Chrysler actually was the original sponsor for the 1964 World's Fair. They created a ride where it was basically like the predecessor to the People Mover, but then they brought some of the ideas of the show scenes over in Epcot once Epcot was built, and they made a World of Motion where you kind of went through the history of like the creation of like vehicles and what kind of vehicles and things like that. I remember that was in the era where all of the rides had really fun like theme songs. So I'm relatively sure World of Motion had a theme song. And but it like when you looked at the concept art from Destination D23 last year, it was like foliage. It was like you were in the woods. So it like was very reminiscent of like show scenes. Like Test Track actually having show scenes again. Almost like OG Test Track, but they looked more realistic and not like the like they almost like it looked like you were on a real test track. They like it almost looked like they put up like cardboard fake trees that you had to like maneuver around and stuff like that on OG. But this looked like actual foliage and actual show scenes, which I'm quite interested to see um how they keep that faster track than they had at World of Motion because it was almost an omni mover, but it wasn't because it stopped. It's kind of like into Imagination, like it's kind of an omni mover but not. Um and so I'm kind of interested in seeing how they kind of do like show scenes within that faster track that they had. So I don't know. I don't have many predictions on this one actually. Like I really don't know what's going on with this. We haven't been given a lot. We were only given that initial like just that little snippet of a car in the woods, really. That was it. Okay. We're getting into rumors. Well, one rumor and then we'll kind of get into predictions. But there is a rumored incoming refurbishment for Journey into Imagination with Figment. Yeah, Carrie, you heard me. Figment might be being restored, refurbished. We might come back and give him a better place because let me tell you, this version, after like watching YouTube videos of the old version with the Dream Finder and then looking at our version, not that I don't love Figment and I go on the Figment ride every time I go to Epcot. I'm not kidding. But I'm so sad I didn't get to experience the Dream Finder version. But there has been a notice of commencement for a 19-month construction progress at the Imagination Pavilion. So it didn't detail a lot, this commencement. And this is like the thing that you need to have like filed before you do any kind of refurbishment or construction on Disney property. This is what they have to file with Reedy Creek. This is what they have to file with the state. So there's not many details in it, but because of the placement of this like request essentially, there's a lot of rumors about what's happening with Figment, what's happening with the Imagination Pavilion. And so Disney has not officially announced any plans for this as of this recording because I checked again today to see if Disney came out with anything and they did not. Um but I'm just really I feel like my biggest issue with the current form of Figment is that it lost a lot of its magic. It became very technical and industrial in my opinion and it lost some of its magic that I can even like experience through the YouTube videos of the original version. Like it lost its creativity and magic when they redid it. Not only did it lose that, but it also lost like half of the track. It used to be a very long attraction, and now it's not, I mean, it's not short by any means. It's not a very short attraction. You probably are on it for what? It's probably a 10-minute ride.
10 minutes, really?
I think so. You go through quite a bit of rooms. I mean, you go through the sight and sound lab, and then you go through the smell lab, and then you go through Figment's open house, and then you go into the end scene with the like explosion and all of the figments and the man in the moon. So I feel like it's almost 10 minutes. I could be wrong on that, but to me it feels like it's a good amount of time, especially for the time that you just walk onto it most of the time. But I think this refurbishment will
Wait,
probably bring a lot more people back to the Imagination Pavilion as well. I mean, my family loves Figment, so I'm hoping they do him justice this time.
I also like Figment. I'm sorry, Kenzie, but this will bring people back. I hope you're ready for it.
Yeah, Kenzie, you better watch out. Maybe you'll fall in love with this little purple dragon. Probably not, but you know. Carrie will work on her this summer. It's okay. But you know, getting out of the rumors, we kind of like touched on, at least I have. I've touched on some of my like predictions for what's going to be announced at D23. Um, because my thing is Disney has not really been holding back on their announcements. I mean, we get new announcements about things almost every single day now. So, like, they're not holding back, and so that's either that's making me really excited for what's going to be announced at D23 because I'm hoping that it's something great and good because the last couple of years, like Destination D23 has been really lackluster. So, I'm really hoping we get really good like announcements and updates.
Yeah, the only thing that I don't know, like what could we be possibly holding back with all these announcements? The only thing that I'm thinking of is that is what they're gonna do with the now extinct NBA experience building. They're gonna turn that into Disney Quest or something. Like I don't know what they're gonna do.
Disney Quest 2.0. I would literally lose my mind. Well, my thing is like Disney escape rooms.
Yeah.
Themed Disney escape rooms. And maybe you don't make it like an escape room where like if you don't finish this you don't escape the room or whatever, but there's just like say they have 20 puzzles and you can work on the puzzles as fast or as slow as you want, but there's like a scoreboard. It's almost like Buzz Lightyear and Toy Story Mania, where like the more puzzles you complete, the more points you get. And so it's not necessarily like a you're not going to get out because I feel like that's not very Disney, but it's more of like a
Mm-hmm.
friendly competition and just like a fun thing to do, like just like a bunch of puzzles in like a themed area. Like you're in Belle's library and you have to complete these puzzles to in order for the rows to be put back together. Or, you know, you're on Captain Hook's ship and Tinkerbell's locked in a box and you have to complete puzzles to let her out. And every time regardless of how many puzzles you make, you're always going to complete the quest. But there's like a leaderboard and you can score points. You know what I mean? I think that'd be a cool thing to do in that big building.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'm just yeah, just that building is the only thing I can think of that they're holding back because they have announced so much
Well,
over like such long period. I feel like been getting announcements for forever, and I'm like,
I know.
it makes me excited, but also makes me like, uh, are we
Confused?
just gonna get
Nervous?
updates?
Well, I think
I
that
mean,
that's
I'm nervous because I'm like, are we just getting updates, or is there something that like an ace out of the sleeve that you guys haven't pulled yet? You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Well, I think that we've only gotten blue sky kind of ideas for Beyond Big Thunder Mountain. We haven't gotten any like official like we are in the process of planning this. this is in the actual works. We have mock-ups, we have models for this. Beyond Big Thunder Mountain or any other Magic Kingdom expansion, because they also mentioned that there's land behind the Haunted Mansion that they were kind of looking at their Destination D23. They kind of mentioned that. So I'm wondering if those two areas, or at least Magic Kingdom itself in Florida, is going to be part of the big announcements for what kind of expansion we're actually going to get and what ideas we're actually using for that area. Plus, if Disneyland Forward gets accepted on May 7th, we'll probably get some like plans for that, some announcements for that. Dino Land, everything's probably going to be more set in stone. We'll probably get some videos, like AI mock ups of what's actually going to happen. I mean, they could start construction by D23 for Dino Land. Or they could at least start their, like, preliminary, like, blocking off, doing the mapping, showing where everything's going to be, actually like finalizing ideas. Because yeah, we have models, but we have no idea what's going in there. Like I said, I was predicting attractions that were going to be in there, but we don't actually know.
Yeah, that's true. I would just love more like set in stone things, so we have an idea what's coming to the parks.
Exactly. I think that D23 is going to be a lot of these rumors and these like very small announcements, not even small announcements, but like they didn't have a lot of detail in them. It's going to be filling in those gaps. And I'm actually really excited for D23 this year because last year they literally were just like, "Hey, blue sky announcements. Look at them. We're not actually working on these, but they're ideas." Instead of like, "Hey, we're actually going to work on this and we're building it and it's going to be coming to you in 2025." No. They didn't do that at all. There weren't very many announcements at Destination D23 last year, which was a little disappointing. But hey, it was Destination D23, and this year they are planning probably the biggest event in D23 history with the D23 Expo in Anaheim this year. Like, they are hyping it up. They are making a huge deal out of it. So I'm very, very excited to hear about things, and then we're obviously going to talk about it once things get announced. We'll have a big master plan of everything that's gone out. We'll probably have to split it into different episodes, to be honest, because they do different panels for different things. Like, they do Disney parks, then they do Disney and Pixar movies, but then they also do Marvel and Star Wars. So we're probably going to have to split it up like the panels and talk about those three different things. So stay tuned for that. Was there anything else that you thought for D23 or any other comments you had on any other our news stories today?
I completely forgot about the movies that could be announced for D23. I know we have some exciting movies this year with Inside Out 2 and Mufasa. But yeah, I'm excited to see what movies they're thinking about or have plans for the next coming years, because I feel like they have been I wouldn't say they have been not been good. It's just I feel like the numbers
No, you can say
show
that. They
like
haven't been good.
I like to wish though.
I haven't seen it yet. So to be fair, their marketing has not been great. And I have
Yeah.
been a busy, busy bee. So I literally just got to watching Elemental probably a month ago. It's been out for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna catch up on some Disney movies this summer, probably with Kenzie. So yeah, I will probably like them. I mean, I haven't even people didn't like Lightyear, and we literally all loved it. We were walking out of that theater because it came out when we were in the DCP. So we went to the AMC in Disney Springs, and we walked out of that theater like repeating some of the jokes that Socks made. I was like in tears at the beginning. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I was emotional at the beginning of the movie. Like within the first 30 minutes, I was sobbing. I thought it was a good movie. Maybe it's because I'm an adult and I understand why children wouldn't like that movie, to be honest. It's very adult. But also, I think that was the point. I think, well, actually, no, I don't think it was a point because they said like this whole storyline was like this is the movie Andy watched when he like wanted Buzz Lightyear as a toy. I'm like, no, it's not. But like for me as a person who grew up on Toy Story, I appreciated kind of the more like mature messages in these movies. But that's also because I am 24. So I can imagine why kids didn't necessarily like this one. But like Turning Red, Luca, things like that, Onward, I know those were a lot of like COVID time things and like that's why like Onward literally came out probably what 2 weeks before the shutdown and then they had to pull all of the like movies from the movie theater. But I mean, I think that they've produced some pretty good things recently, but also I haven't been super motivated to go to the theater and watch them because the marketing hasn't been good. And so my thought process is like I can just watch this in my house and if I don't like it, I can turn it off and I'm not wasting $15 plus popcorn and soda. You have to have it at the movie theater. Like I'm not going to waste that money on something that I might not like because the marketing doesn't give me anything to hold on to.
Yeah, that makes sense. I will say I feel like Inside Out 2, I feel like the marketing there has been a bit better. I like how it is a natural evolution of the characters and how an actual teenager, more specifically a teenage girl, would grow up and find all these new emotions. So I feel like it will be a very good movie.
No, and the internet has really latched on to the character of anxiety. I've seen so many things about anxiety as a character in this movie. So I am actually kind of excited for that one, although fun secret Inside Out 1 was not my favorite thing in the world. But I also think
What?
that's because at the point in which it came out, I didn't want to be sad and that movie made me sad. Kind of like The Good Dinosaur. It just made me sad and I didn't want to be sad. So I think I haven't watched it in a while, so I should probably watch it again to get better feelings on it cuz I'm in I'm in a little bit of a better place now. Um But I'm also just excited to see what they're doing with Star Wars and Marvel. I'm a little marveled out. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little marveled out the past couple of years with them pushing out just so much product that you have to keep up on in order to understand the other things that they're coming out with. Like, I have not watched the newest Doctor Strange movie. I have not watched the newest Spider-Man movie. No, I watched the newest Spider-Man movie. I didn't watch the second one. I skipped one. Um but I didn't watch the new Ant-Man movie. And like I feel like I'm so far behind now because I have no idea what's going on with this multiverse stuff besides what I watched in Loki season 1 because I haven't even finished season 2 yet. I'm just so marveled out. I watched the first couple of episodes of She-Hulk. I actually really enjoyed She-Hulk. I was just busy when it came out. Um but it's like I just felt like it was so much whereas like Star Wars, they like died down a little bit. They like calmed down and they brought us different types of like storylines whereas I feel like Marvel is all relying on the same type of storyline recently. And so Star Wars like you get like the gritty darker with Andor and then you get like the fun, not like super upbeat but like the fun recognizable loved characters in Ahsoka. And I really like Bad Batch as well because it's building off of like Clone Wars, the animated series, and it's like building off of that concept. So it's like it's different segments of Star Wars, so I'm not getting tired of it. But I'm really interested in seeing what they're doing movie-wise with Star Wars because we haven't had a new Star Wars movie in a while, and it used to be my family's Christmas Eve tradition. We would go to the movie theater because either a Marvel movie or a Star Wars movie was out, and we haven't had that in a few years. So I'm kind of hoping we get some new Star Wars content soon. but I'm happy with the content that Star Wars has put out. Marvel needs to calm down a little bit. I need to catch up. And also the quality of their content hasn't been as good. They were pushing quantity instead of quality, I feel like. So I feel like they need to take a step back and like breathe for a second and really put out some quality content instead.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I I watched both season 1 and season 2 of Loki, which was amazing. Even though I like jump around in the Marvel universe. My family and I, we used to watch the Marvel movies in cinematic order all together, so I understand most of it. It's just with all this multiverse stuff, like Liz, I have not watched Doctor Strange. I've not watched. Did I watch She Hulk? Maybe an episode too,
Ant-Man, the new
something
one,
like
the
that.
Quantum Mania one. I haven't seen that.
I have not watched that either. Um, it's just yeah, they just keep putting out stuff. It's just like what are we going for here? Why are we putting out stuff just for the sake of it instead of like putting out meaningful releases and content so you can build a quality timeline, a quality story that you had up until Endgame, let's be real. And then Loki just like came in and saved it. So, and as far as Star Wars, like I like Star Wars. I watched The Mandalorian and stuff like that. I've seen the Star Wars movies. If you were to ask me any Star Wars trivia, I wouldn't be able to tell you all that much, to be
Here's
honest.
a
So,
Star Wars trivia question. Um,
okay.
every Star Wars fan will know the answer to this, even if I'm not asking the question correctly. When they are they're in like a like bar slash club type dealio, and there's a certain type of music that is being played. I will give you a hint. It's kind of like our jazz music, but there's like a certain type of music being played. Do you know what that music is called? No, it's okay. Listeners,
No.
listeners, this is gonna be your time to shine in the Spotify question and answer section. I am gonna pose this same question, and if you can answer it, I will screenshot it, send it to Taryn, so she can be educated. Because I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna reveal it yet. So.
Please help me.
But yeah, I mean, there's just gonna be. I think that there's potential to release so much information at D23, and I am very, very excited to see what actually, what we actually get at D23 this year. But with that said, I want to thank you, Taryn, for recording this episode with me. And for all of you out there listening, with that said, that is all for this episode, my friends. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Kingdom Keepers Pod to stay up to date on announcements and future episodes. To participate in our episodes, you can comment on our social media, send us emails to kingdomkeeperspod@gmail.com. You can also answer that Q&A in Spotify if you would like to. Please educate Darren. And don't forget to check out Twinning Around the World Travel for all of your vacation planning needs. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Did you just imitate me?